get some tips on how to save a bundle of money when we have our bundle of joy. So, Kate, hit me with it. What are some tips or things that we should think about when we have our babies and the way we spend our money?
So what we see is that when you do have young kids, you get really caught up in the excitement and the demands of having a young family.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really important to prevent making really simple mistakes.
Right.
The first one, particularly for people who are having a newborn, is not to test drive living on one income.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, what you've just done is move from 2 incomes to 1, but with additional expenses.
Right. So I think it also is a matter of you changing your mindset, right? So I know when I first had my twins, I was still in the mindset that there was 2 incomes coming in. So I was spending quite a bit. I had to pull back after it. So I guess in that sense, you need to be intentional as well and know and look at your budget.
And you're spot on, Fiona. One of the biggest mistakes we see people make is they're not conscious about how they're spending money and they get really caught up in all the beautiful things.
And the latest pram.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that if you can afford it.
And it's about saying, what is it that really matters to me? So in The Joy of Money, our book, we talk a lot about aligning your spending with what you value the most.
Right.
So when I was a young mum, I bought a running pram because I used to run a lot and so I could pop my son in there and I could go for runs with him.
Yeah.
But that was a really good use of my dollar.
Yes.
But what we have to think about is the opportunity cost of every dollar that we spend. And so if we value education, the $1,000 that we might spend on all these things now, by the time those kids are ready for high school, that could be $2,000 or $3,000. And by the time they're 21, it could be $4,000 or $5,000.
Right. So we should be thinking about maybe investing in our children by saving or putting that money away.
It's certainly an option.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what are some other tips that you have for us in terms of, newborn babies, taking precaution of how we spend our money?
The other mistake that we see is people forgetting to make sure they look after their personal insurances.
Right.
So having a baby suddenly means your whole profile of your financial situation has changed. And so it's really important to make sure that you've got appropriate life insurance, total and permanent disability insurance, income protection insurance, and probably trauma insurance, and even trauma for your children in case they become ill or injured. Because we know what happens and, we never ever want it to happen to anybody. But if you're ill, injured, or somebody in the family dies...
And it does happen.
And it happens. You want to have that financial backing that enables you to get through without being under financial strain, but also helps you deal with the emotional strain.
That's right, because you don't want to be dealing with those things when you're going through some sort of a traumatic experience in your own family. And I guess investing in our children is a good way to start, investing in their future, looking at their future rather than making impulse buys for that moment. Thank you so much, Kate. Look, Kate has some awesome tips on our website. Check out mumsathetable.com. You'll get some really informative tips that will help you in the long run. Keep it locked right here at Mums at the Table.